Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah Barakatham Yahweh Shematham Bashem Yahweh Shah. So, like you had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we back with part two. All right, part two. We're gonna pick up where we left off, and let's get into the Bible. Now, last week we talked about the consequence for eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. All right, and how Adam and Eve and the serpent, how the curses were put on. So now we finna start where we left off, Genesis chapter 3. We're going to start with verse 22. We're going to go into Hebrew and in the English. All right, Genesis 3 and 22. Wa ya'amar Yahweh Elohim Hawa ha'adam haya ka'akad mamanawa ladai ata sawa wadai wa ata panya salak Yahweh walakwak gam ma'aitaza akayam wa akal wa kaya la ilawan. Verse 22 in the English. And the Lord God said, behold, man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. So when it said to know good and evil, meaning we know consequences now. All right. We know the consequences of good and evil. Meaning man was meant to be told what to do and just do it. All right. We were never meant to see the other side of things. All right. For example, when it's talking about good and evil and how God creates evil, it's talking about the consequences for everything that we do. For example, we were meant to be told don't touch the hot stove and just do it. All right. But now, since we have the knowledge of good and evil, we have to learn things the hard way. Now we touch the stove and burn our hand to find out we're not supposed to touch a hot stove. All right. This is what it means to know good and evil. All right. Knowing the consequences of our actions. Again, we were meant to be told what to do. We were meant to follow instruction. All right. Follow orders and do what we're told. All right. But now we learn the other side of God. All right. Now we learn the other side of this thing. All right. Now we learn the consequences for our actions. All right. So verse 23 in Hebrew. Wasalak Hawa Yahweh Elohim Magawa Idawa La Ibad Ata Ha Adama Ashar La Kwash Mashan. Verse 23. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So now it's talking about us losing the kingdom. All right, it's talking about Adam and his family losing the kingdom that was given to him. All right, losing the paradise that was given to him. All right, so it's talking about Adam being kicked out of the garden. All right, being kicked out of Eden. All right, verse 24 in Hebrew. Waya Gorash Ata Ha-Adam Waya Shakawa Makwadam Lagama Idawa Ata Hakarabian Wa Ata Lahas Hakarab Hamath Hapakath Lashamar Hakayam. Verse 24 in English. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. All right. So we've been kicked out of the garden And we've been trying to find our way back ever since. All right. The children of God, the Lord's chosen, we've been trying to find our way back ever since. All right. Let's go into chapter 4, Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 in Hebrew. Waha Adam Yadayata Kawa Ashatawa Watahar Watala Ata Kwayama Wata Amar Kwana Yataya Ayash Ata Yahweh. Genesis 4:1 in English. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. All right, so Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. So we're talking about the first son mentioned between Adam and Eve. Verse 2 in Hebrew. Watasat laladath ata akayawa ata habal waya habal ra'ai tazawa wakaya haya ibar adama. Verse 2. And she bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. All right, so now we have the birth of Abel, and we finna get into the story of Cain and Abel. We're gonna start it this week. Next week, Lord willing, we'll get into the story of Cain and Abel and how that story of Cain and Abel, much like the enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman we talked about last week, and how that parallels with this story. All right, verse 3 in Hebrew. Wayaha makwataza yamayam wayaba'a kwayan mapa'aya ha adama manaka layahya. Verse 3. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering made unto the Lord. Verse 4. Wahabal habaya gam hawa'a mabakawath taza'ana wa makal bahawan wa yashai Yahweh Allah habal wa Allah manakata. Verse 4. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. All right, so like I said, next week, Lord willing, we finna get into the story of Cain and Abel, how that relates to the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman that we read about last week. And again, how that relates to today. Who in the earth today has the spirit of Cain? All right, so with that, everybody in Midian, let me stand, face the east. We'll read the prayers in Hebrew and English. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabashamayam Kodash Haya Shaka Yahweh Malakwatka Taba'a Ratazaka Haya Aisha Ba'arataza Kawa Haya Bashamayam Nathan Lanawa Lakam Kao Yawam Wasalak Lanawa Kawabafnawa Kasalaknawa Kabwabwafnawa Wala'a Tabaya Anawa Banasanawan, Abal, Hawashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, wa Allah, wa hata pa'araf, la wa iloyam, aman. In English, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. The power in Hebrew, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Baba Koshah, Nathan Lanawa, Hakat, Larapa, Kal, Makala, Wakal Madawa, Hakat, Latahar, Hamatazari, Hakat, Lahakwayim, Mayatham, Hakat, Al Rakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarishan, Bahashem Yahushua, the water Aman. In English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the leper, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it. The blessings in Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahushua, wa Mayaka Allah, wa Alahayim, Matazabi'ah Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapim, Ha Saranium, Ha Quatazayanium, Ha Kayayalam, Wa Akawathian, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, the water Amma. In English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushua, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Asha, Ayanya, Al, Ahorim, Mayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Ma'am Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayam, Wa Aratazah, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamorka, Hanala'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Ayad, Yam Yanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarak, Bayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makau, Rai, Yashamar, Afna Pashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaathka, Wabawaka, Mataha, Wai Alawam. In English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved, he that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Psalms 83. Alahayim, Al, the Miyah, Lakah, Al, the Karash, wa Al, the Shakwat, Al, Kaya, Hana, Abu Yab Yaka, Yahama, Yawan, wa Mashana Yaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al, Amak, Ya Ramwa, Sawa, wa Ya, the Yatazaka, wa Al, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wana, Kayadam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham, Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawatazawa, Lab, Yakawa, Al, Yaka, Bayath, Yakarath, Wa'a, Ahaya, Adawam, Wa, Yashamalawam, Ma Wa'aba, Wa, Hagaram, Gabal, Wa Amawan, Wa Amalak, Palashat, An Yeshabia, Tazawar, Guam, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamiyad, Kasayasara, Kayabian, Banakal, Kwashawan, Nasham Yidwa, Bayan Dara, Hayawa Daman, La Adama, Shayathamwa, Nadayabmawa, Kairab, Waka Zaaba, Waka Zabak, Waka Tazalamanai, Kal, Nasiyakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Na'a, Yashara, Lanawa, Af, Nawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kadalgala, Kakwash, La Panya Raka, Kaash, La Bara Yara, Waka, La Habaa, Talahat, Haryam, Khan, the Radakma, Basaraka, Wabasawa, Wapwafkawa, Tabahalam, Mala, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Waya Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Ai, Wayakarwapa, Wa Yaabadwa, Waya Daiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Aikal, Ha'arataza. In English. Psalms 83. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, to Jabin at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make the nobles like Areb and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes as Zabah and as Zamun, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with that tempest, and make them afraid with that storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek the name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Right, Yeshabium means be seated. And that's going to conclude today's Sabbath service. We'll do one courtesy salute. Shalom. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatham, Yahweh Shemaratham, Bashem, Yahweh Shah. Class dismissed.